Hey everybody, how's it going? Marc Lozano here, Christ Center Capital. I wanted to make a video today because over the weekend we had the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett himself, and his business partner Charlie Munger called Bitcoin. Well, Charlie Munger called Bitcoin stupid and evil, and it was more in reference to cryptocurrency in general. And Warren Buffett kind of echoed it by making a very outlandish, I believe, hyperbolic statement saying that even if all the Bitcoin in the world was offered to him for just $25, he wouldn't take it. Now, what's their thinking behind this? Obviously, when someone or something calls an investable asset evil, that's kind of our territory, right? C3. I don't think they're meaning anything in regards to Christian morality or anything when they're making these statements, but it's something to dive into. Because, I mean, are they right? Do they have any merit to their position? Now, Christ Center Capital, we did an article about this. We just posted it. So you can come and check it out. Click here, right? We got Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, both there making their statements. We're going to talk about are they right. Now, I highly suggest go reading the article because if you do read the article and all the way through and you're a C3 subscriber, you're going to get a couple stock picks that popped up on our radar this week that we included in there just for fun. So, yeah, go check that out. But let's talk a little bit about whether or not these guys are right, or do they have any merit to what they're saying? And why are they saying it? Well, the real reason they're saying it is because everyone knows who follows investing and follows Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, he really likes tangible assets. So he likes, housing, farmland, the energy sector. He just now started getting into like tech stocks because he was really his investing philosophy is obviously hold for the long term, but his real investing philosophy is to invest into tangible assets that produce something. Now, obviously, Bitcoin being a currency doesn't really produce anything. And I believe they're making a category error. So, if you compare, say, Bitcoin, the most legitimate cryptocurrency, to farmland, yes, Bitcoin does not produce anything in comparison to farmland. Farmland is something that is going to produce crops. Bitcoin, in and of itself, doesn't produce anything. But here's the catch: fiat currency, traditional currency, the U.S. dollar, in of itself, also does not produce anything. It is a IOU note. That's what fiat currency. That's what currency in general is. It's an IOU, right? Most people today can't produce anything if you hand them a brick of gold, right? So even that extreme example of a brick of gold, which is actually can be used for certain things and can help produce certain things, the general person, they get handed a brick of gold, they're like, okay, this is great, and I can probably sell it to someone for more money, but I can't actually produce anything with it. So this is why here at C3 we think that Mr. Munger and Mr. Buffett are making a very simple category error. See, cryptocurrency has its use and its value in its blockchain and its decentralized nature and its ability to transfer funds and pay for things across borders and throughout different countries and all this good stuff. Like, it has its highlights. It has its downside too. Like a lot of people get caught up in cryptocurrency scams, and it's still so new that there's a lot of like kinks in the armor to work out. But when you start comparing Bitcoin to, housing or apartment buildings, that makes no sense because you wouldn't compare the US dollar to housing or apartment buildings or farmland or manufacturing plants or anything like that. What cryptocurrency is, what Bitcoin or Ethereum or one of those major players are either a replacement to or a complement to traditional currency. Now, the reason I think that Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have such a timid approach to Bitcoin or a more averse approach to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at large is because they are worried about the disruption that it could cause in the traditional financial institutions, which it definitely could do that. I mean, cryptocurrency can play a huge role in it can be an agent of chaos, really. It's very volatile, it's very new, as more countries start adopting it, there's going to be a lot of catch up to be made and a lot of stumbling blocks. And since Berkshire Hathaway has much of their holdings in traditional assets and tangible assets, here at C3 we kind of understand their reservation, right? Because it's something so far out in left field from what they're traditionally investing in. Now, as I click on this here, as we come to the article, and you can read this article for yourself. Go to ChristCenterCapital.com. It's going to be the first featured article here for a day or two, so it's going to be really easy to find. When we talk about so we know that comparing farmland to cryptocurrency or housing to the US dollar, that doesn't really make any sense. If we compare farmland to apartments or housing, that makes a lot of sense. If we compare the US dollar or any other fiat currency to a cryptocurrency, that makes a little bit more sense. And when we're talking about why does the US dollar hold value? Well, it's because the government says it does, or governments and people say they do. Why would Bitcoin hold value? It's because governments and people say they do. Now, mind you, the governments that say that have adopted Bitcoin as like a national currency or anything like that are a lot smaller or not as near as powerful as, the companies that kind of hold stake in the US dollar. But essentially that's all it is. If a fiat currency or any kind of currency holds value, it's because people or governments say that it does. That's it. I mean, tomorrow gold could be worth nothing if everyone says, gold, we don't want to do anything with gold anymore, and lithium's the new way to go, which kind of is the way that things are going with the EV market and batteries, because lithium's a huge component there. So you can see why, you can understand why Buffett and Munger are making this comparison, but a little bit deeper digging, you realize that they're just making a category error. Cryptocurrencies aren't meant to produce something. They're meant to be a form of currency, hence cryptocurrency. They're comparing them to the farmland and the housing and the manufacturing plants, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Comparing them to the US dollar does make a lot of sense. And now when you do that comparison and you're fair in that comparison, there's some real upside and there's some real downside to it. People who say otherwise are really passionate on one end or the other, they're probably a little biased. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say on the whole Munger, Buffett saying cryptocurrency is evil, stupid, or whatever they were saying. And me personally, if all the Bitcoin in the world was offered to me for just $25, I would take that in a heartbeat. Even if I thought Bitcoin was stupid and useless and whatever, you can't deny the fact that it is worth something to a lot of people right now. And you could buy it and sell it all and go get as much farmland as you want, right? So, I believe that the Berkshire Hathaway guys are being a little bit hyperbolic and they're talking about it. But then again, who knows, And they've been so long invested into a particular way of investing, and it's done really, really well for them. Better than 99.99999% of the population, right? But you never want to get too stuck in your own ways, especially in the complex and ever-changing world of investing. So always keep an open mind and try to read between the lines. Think about the nuances, because everyone and their brother is trying to sell you a point of view or an asset or something, but you really have to do your due diligence, especially as a Christian investor. As a Christian investor, you need to do your homework. That is key, because as we've always said at Christ Center Capital, and we always will continue to say, passive investing is evil investing. I know that's harsh language, but it's too often or almost always true. All right. So go check out ChristCenterCapital.com. You can check out this article, where we're talking about the comments between Buffett and Munger. It's a lot more concise than me rambling. So I highly encourage you to go to the website. And if you make it all the way through the article, we're going to have, you see it says for subscribers only, but if you are a subscriber, you're going to have a couple stock picks in there that we've reviewed and have made it on our radar through our curation process. So again, go check out ChristCenterCapital.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check us out. We really appreciate your traffic there. It helps us to support charities, helps us to support the work that we do in this moral analysis. and we just really appreciate it. So thank you, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.